Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching Cairo Local Time. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about Decent Life Initiative, as President Ahmed el-Sisi is expected to attend the first conference of the national project Decent Life, which kicks off on Thursday, and it aims at developing Egyptian countryside. And to shed more light on Decent Life Initiative and this important conference, which is due to be inaugurated in the coming hours, we are joined today by Dr. Ahmed Salah Rifky, founder of Social System Engineering. Good afternoon, Dr. Ahmed.
Good afternoon.
So, as I just mentioned, that under the auspices of President Ahmed el-Sisi, the first conference of the national project Decent Life to Develop Egyptian Countryside kicks off on Thursday. So, sir, tell us more about this conference and its importance.
The project Decent Life is a very important project because it's representing a very big budget, and we are saying that make a project and the biggest since the duality regime, and it's more than 515 billion Egyptian pounds on 3 phases, and each year it's around 200 million.
Yes. Yes.
And in the first phase, we succeed to change the life of the people in 375 villages. And this is the first step. And although that we have the plan into changing the 4,500 villages and their functional small villages, around 35,000. And it's not only building homes or delivering water. Actually, it's 14 services, integrated services. It's infrastructure, water and sanitation, and building roofs, and also furniture. And we are talking about schools and clinics and hospitals, and also the one-stop shop in each village, in order the people can also get all the services that they need from their village instead of going to go to cities. And as well, we didn't forget the most important aspect, which is the female and the woman, Asian women, especially the independent, as they have children, to how they created a job for them, how to teach them and make them trainings and provide them the tools,
yes,
and also to teach them how to make products, and then as well to create for them a new market in order to sell their products. So it's an integrated project. That's why it's taking a very important aspect. And the conference of today is to show, to integrate the social people or the NGOs people that's working, the community gentlemen, with the political and also with all the private sector, in order that we know that there is no real sustainability unless that the public sector put a hand with the private sector, and also with the NGOs, with the people on the ground.
Yes.
So this is the real successful project because it's putting all the three teams, let's say, into action together, and we are seeing a very big approach, and we're seeing a very big change on the reality, and it's not only change but an upgrade of the lifestyle of the people there.
Yes. Also, the initiative connects the state, institutions, civil society, the private sector, and other development partners in Egypt. Can you tell us more about this cooperation, how successful it is?
It is, because each part of
yes,
them, for example, the NGOs people or the society people,
yes,
they know really the problem on the ground, the problem of the village, and each village what are the problem and what are they facing. And regarding the government side, which has the authority and who has the paperwork and facilitating everything. And the private sector,
yes,
it always has the money, because when the private sector invests in corporate social responsibility, all those money return back deducted from their taxes. So that's why the integration of all the three together, the community service, the gentlemen, which they know the problems, and
yes,
with the support of the government authorities, and with the money from the private sector, they really make a big change. And
yes,
like I say, we are above 600 billion Egyptian pounds as a project. Among even that we are working on more than 31,000 projects with a budget of 5.9 billion. But this project is the biggest since the duality regime.
So why is this project essential to the country's sustainable development plan?
We are talking about that our population is more than 100 million, but more than 55 million inhabitants are living in the villages and the rural areas. And they don't have the basic needs like say electricity, like say sewage, water, clean water, and all the things. So investing in such a project, which is affecting directly 55 billion Egyptians and changing their life and making their life easy, and also to raise the standards of living instead of having just a house. No, the standard life as is the constitution to have water and electricity and infrastructure and big roads and hospitals and education. This is the first step to increase the standards. So this is the minimum now in the constitution for any Egyptian to have those rights. And of course they might have previously they didn't, for the old regime they didn't have the privilege to enter in this project because the lack of financial support. But all this project, it doesn't happen unless this regime that we are living here that maintain and sustain and make the stability of the political system, which is leading up to the economical regime and new regime and correcting all the debits and everything. And now we see the benefits that we have more financial and we are building a new Egypt. And thinking this is the beginning of the social aspects and the social problems that are working really on the roots, that going to the people in the villages because they don't have previously they don't have life and they don't have opportunities for jobs opportunities. So that's why they're immigrating to the village to the cities. But now when creating a new life for them, a decent life, and they have that opportunity and they can work and they have all the benefits there, so they start to focus more into the agriculture and focus more into to be productive instead of being consumers.
So, Dr. Ahmed, the development of Egypt's villages faces a significant challenge in the huge size of development projects required, as each village differs from the other. So, why is that a challenge? How can it be addressed?
Actually, this is in the core of social system engineering. The beginning is that to see all the problems in each village, because each village has some common problems and there are special problems in each village. So after we have this mess of problems, we work together for years to start to convert this problem into opportunities. How that, because the problem, if we convert it an opportunity to investment, or even we find a tool and training to solve this problem, so we create a new job, and this is what we did. We convert all the problems into opportunities, and later on we invited the private sector into the investors, and we brought with also the government and also the community gentlemen, and that's why we convert all the problems into opportunities. That's why the progress is very fast, because the people didn't imagine that the problems can be converted that quickly into opportunities. And thanks to our president, the financial support, we're talking about almost 600 billion Egyptian pounds as a budget in three years. This is always the problem that we have faced previously, that we don't have budget. But now we have the budget, and we have the technical, and we have the people and the community, and all the people are putting their hands together. And as today's conference that we are going to celebrate and showing that we can, because when we talk on this project in the initiative, and our president was talking in January 2nd, 2019, in this initiative that we are going to work in the 4,500 villages in parallel and everything, it was for them impossible. But now it is possible. It is on the ground. We are talking that by the end of this year, we are going to finish more than 375 villages, but not only villages, but with the infrastructure, which is schools and clinics and electricity and water and sanitation. And we are talking 14 services combined from many ministries are working together. And might be the first time to be this integration.
Yes, Dr. Ahmed, also the implementation of this initiative and project comes amid a major economic crisis created by the coronavirus pandemic. How will investing in this project now help the country's economy and support certain sectors?
Which I'm saying that we are in this phase because of the previous steps that we have
Yes.
taken place. The first step is to stabilize the political system at the time, and then to have the reforming of the economic regime, and that's why we have the surplus, which is helping us to minimize the deficiency between in the global budget of Egypt, and which helping us to be proactive for the first time, because maybe within the old regimes will always reactive, like when they're waiting the problems to come and then they react for it. But this regime, because he's using a lot of artificial intelligence and real data and social engineering and all those things, it makes them proactive. Before the problem is approaching, they have already the solution. And that's why we can see that Egypt now is one of the good countries that they are facing very well the epidemic.
Yes.
Using the vaccine and even the social distances and everything, and most important that our economics didn't fall down; it's still maintaining, and the tourism is still running, and all those things, which is showing that we start to have the intelligence in managing the resources parallelly, and even before the being an active node, we are active and we have solutions before the problems come to us.
So the project also serves about 60 million people. That is more than half of the Egyptian population. How will that change? How will that change the standard of daily life for Egyptians?
Like you say, that we have almost 55 million, and those 55 million is more than 60% of the population of Egypt, and those are always suffering, or they're not suffering, but they didn't have the minimum life to increase that efficiency into work. But now, after giving them the basic needs and the electricity and the sewage and water, and also helping them into creating new projects and all these things, so we are going to increase the efficiency. So instead of reducing, for example, 20% of their capabilities, so we are expecting after the renovation of the whole project after 3 years, this efficiency will be minimum than 80%, because we are tackling all the problems that they're facing into their work, water for agriculture, everything, the problems that they're facing. So when we make their life easier, so we expect that productivity will increase dramatically.
So, sir, the project comes as the country's economic reform program put the economy back on the right track with improving growth rates and a positive macroeconomic indicator. How do you see the timing of allocating such a big finance for this project?
Yes, I might be biased a little bit for the one-stop shop, because when I was working on the one-stop shop, it was the most important thing is to gather all the information, because previously the information was not into one place. We have to gather, the investor has to go and get information from there and there. So when we put all the information in the one-stop shop, everything starts to be clear. We have the investment map, and we have all the maps in front of us. We have everything with reality and with numbers and with the dynamics, let's say, and with KPIs, and we see where is the problem, and we start to test it very quickly, because all the information are available and it's dynamic. It's like a dynamic map. So this, I think, was the beginning to know where the drainage of our economy, and the support that we are supporting people that might not need, also that there are some people that was needy and they didn't have support. So His Excellency, what he did, he started to reform all this, and he started to really give the support for the people that they really need, which is, we are talking about 60 billion Egyptian pounds for this decent life project, and this is the money is going to those people that really need them. So that's very intelligent, because those people, if we invest in them, we are talking more than 50% of the population, but we are expecting much more production coming from them. And some indices that we see that were during the epidemic now, we are exporting a lot of agriculture, fruits and vegetables and lots to Europe and all the world, which means that it starts to pay off, although that we are still working on the first phase.
So, sir, 4,500 villages in 3 years. Why do we need to conclude this project in such a short period of time?
Yes, maybe the project has some initiatives since NGOs. They worked in 2008 to start to select only 100 poorest villages, and previously as NGOs we worked alone in this. But the problem is that when we finish those 100, we find another 100 start to be poor. So we work again. And when we work in the second 100, we return back the following year. Find the first 100 has also a problem because we were working at NGOs like a painkiller. But His Excellency, he was thinking, no, we need to change and to change all Egypt in short time. So that's why we have this 5,500 villages, the main one plus 35,000 functional villages around, and to work in parallel for the 3 years. And they have the 3 levels: the infrastructure, and the infrastructure including the water and sanitation, and by the way, it's almost 50% of the budget. And then the electricity and the roofs and the clinics and some hospitals and also the schools, which are the infrastructure. And later on, there is the second phase and the third phase, which is ending up by building the Egyptian character in the villages and to how to build them and to deliver maybe universities and to prove them how to create universities, local universities, to solve local problems using science. So this is a big project. We are talking in the 3 years, but it's following because Egypt has the vision of 2030, and we are now doing the vision of 2052 as well. So it's more and more, but the good thing that we are on the right path, and we are seeing some results on the ground.
So, sir, to what extent the Decent Life Initiative and other major initiatives launched by the President will change the way the whole world is looking to Egypt now and put Egypt in a different place?
This is a very important question because Egypt as a population, we are 100 million, which is compared by the U.S., we are one third of the U.S. population. And we are almost 25% of the European Union integrated together. And in the population, we are almost number 14 in this thing. Although the space of Egypt, we are talking that geographically is the combined between the area of France and Germany and England. Put together, there is the size of Egypt. So it's, the real place of Egypt should be in the top 15 worldwide. But the problem, we might have a very big GDP, but the income of the people is low. So that's why they don't have a good job, a good living standard. So His Excellency, when he starts to target the poorest people, which is in the village, this 55,000, and to solve the root causes of their problems and to solve them. So we are expecting to raise the life standard of the Egyptian, which is later on with putting the Egyptian return back that they can be welcome anywhere, everything in terms of economical, in terms of education, in terms of work and everything. So this is step by step. So I think that like His Excellency was promised us, that we're going to see a new Egypt. And we start to see some things, and we're expecting in 2030, the new Egypt will be ready, and we are all will be proud of it.
Yes. I'd like to thank you, Dr. Ahmed Salah Rifky, founder of Social System Engineering. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And it is worth mentioning that the first conference of the national project Decent Life to develop Egyptian countryside is expected to kick off in the coming hour. And President Fattah al-Sisi has launched Hayat Karima to provide higher standard of life and daily services for the communities most in need in the countryside. Hayat Karima connects state institutions, civil society, the private sector, and sustainable development partners in Egypt, and beyond exerting unique and concerted efforts to beat multidimensional poverty, especially in the villages. There are 4,658 villages targeted at investment of 700 billion Egyptian pounds, improving the lives of more than half of Egypt's population.